Welcome to Category Management Knowledge Group's course preview on our Category Assessment Certified course. It's the first step to develop a retailer category plan, but the flow and logic applies to development of category reviews, business reviews, and internal planning documents. Everyone who works with your data in your organization should learn how to go beyond pulling the data and be able to drill through data and derive relevant insights. Here are the learning objectives for the certified course. It's not enough to get the point-and-click training that's normally associated with data and tools training. Your team needs to learn how to analyze data, drill down through data, and turn data into insight. Really, it's about strategically thinking about data and developing relevant insights based on what the business issue is. In this course preview, we'll walk through some sample slides associated with category analysis and benchmarking. The full course walks through key analytics and measures and includes workshops that help participants to move to the next level of data analysis, turning data into insights. Let's get started. The category assessment can be very simple or extremely detailed. This is driven by how much data you have available and also how important the category is for the retailer or vendor. We are now going to review some of the key measures associated with a category assessment. In the full course, there's an Excel workshop where participants complete exercises throughout the training. This will be referred to in examples, but the Excel file is not available in this course preview. The first measure is dollar volume, which includes all items scanned through the retail store's front-end system during a given period of time. It's used to show the size and importance of a category, segment, and brand as it relates to dollars. This measure is required to do many other calculations, including tracking, ranking, and share calculations. The calculation for dollar volume is unit sales multiplied by unit price. Review the formula on this page, complete the calculations in the Measures Workshop Excel file in column D, and then return to this training video. Here are the answers to this exercise. If you don't understand a calculation, you can always refer to the answers in the Workshop 1 answer key for review. Growth rates are a percent change that represents a product's current year dollar, unit, or tonnage volume as a percentage gain or loss of its year-ago volume. It gives a directional measure on sales performance and allows a direct comparison to other products to identify threats or opportunities. The calculation for growth rates is the volume this year divided by the volume last year minus 1. In this example, we're using dollar volume to calculate the dollar volume percent change. Once again, go to your Category Assessment Master Workshop Excel file and complete the analysis for percent change in column F. Here are the answers for growth rate. In the full course, we explain all of the calculations for the measures in this table, and then we can review this market assessment. What can we see from this retailer's data? What conclusions can we draw? The total category is up 2.9% in dollar sales. This is driven by Segment 3 growth of 6% and Segment 5 growth of 12.7%. Segments 1 and 4 are declining in sales in this category. Next, let's look at absolute dollar change. This is different than percent change because it takes into consideration the size of the different segments. Absolute dollar sales grew $1,126 in the category. Segments 3 and 5 grew the most in absolute dollar sales, and Segment 1 showed a loss in absolute dollar sales of negative $448. When looking at dollar share, you can see that Segments 1, 2, and 3 have share numbers close to each other. Segment 4 is the smallest segment, and Segment 5 is the largest segment, with a 25.1 share of the category. Share point change in the last column highlights the segments that have a growing or shrinking piece of the pie. For instance, Segment 1 has lost 1.7 share points, and Segment 5 grew by 2.2 share points. It's important to remember that the sum of shares is always 100, so when one segment gains in share, another declines in share. But if a segment loses share, it doesn't mean it's not growing in dollar sales. Let's look at an example with Segment 2, up 0.6% in dollar sales, but losing 0.5 share points. This is because the growth in the segment is behind the growth in the category, so they're losing share in a growing pie. I've now captured my key insights from this retailer analysis. Based on this analysis, what should this retailer do to drive his sales? Does he support the segments that are helping to grow his category? Or does he try to pick up his results in the segments that are lagging behind? Which one would you recommend that he support? And a more important question, does he really have enough information to make a decision? What's missing? Another measure that we cover in detail is the retailer's share of market, which is in the far right-hand column. This calculation tells the retailer what percentage of the total market volume that they represent at a category level, as well as a brand and segment, and even an item level. The calculation is the retailer dollar volume divided by the market dollars times 100. An example for the category share of market is $44,626 divided by $161,961 equals a share of market of 27.6. Now we get participants to calculate the share of market for the rest of the segments. Here are the answers to the share of market assignment. Participants can refer to the answer key if they struggled with getting these answers. Let's review these share of market numbers. This retailer has a 27.6 share of the category in the market, or in other words, represents 27.6% of total category dollar sales in the market. Retailer shares of a market at a segment level that are lower than total category share represent segments that are underdeveloped, like the ones highlighted in red. Retailer shares of market at a segment level that are higher than total category share indicate highly developed segments, like the ones highlighted in green. If you can create an assessment that's less complex but gives great insights, it will make it much easier for you to make quick decisions. Before you really start drilling deeper into the category, you need to consider the category share of market. How, as a retailer, do you know if this number is a good or bad share of market? In Chapter 2, we will look at this in more detail as we determine some benchmarks for the retailer. Once we've reviewed the key measures in a category assessment, we walk participants through how to drill through the data and make relevant observations. The category overview we walk participants through includes an in-depth review of this sample dry cereal category overview. We haven't shown all of the slides, but this gives you an example of what the detail looks like. Organics is an important and fast-growing segment that's kept separate from the others. It's important to note that organics is also incorporated into the family, adult, and segment results, so the numbers are duplicated. If you add up the volume for family, adult, and kids segments, they equal the total category numbers. Take about 2 minutes to look at the results on this page, and as the category manager, try to identify some of the key numbers of concern in this report. We already know the category is down 2% versus year ago. What segments are driving that 2% growth? I can look across the segments to see what segments are driving the 2% total category decline. Are the same segments driving the results for absolute volume growth? As I mentioned before, it's always important to include an absolute volume change. You can see that a decline of 1% in the adult segment translates to negative 306 in sales, which is a significant amount of volume loss. Of note, the adult segment is the largest segment in the category. So all three segments have declined over the latest 52 weeks, translating to a total volume loss of almost $1.8 million. As a category manager, you should also have a sense of what segments you're most and least developed in, based on market share. Some retailers use this as one of their key measures in their business on an ongoing basis. What is the least developed segment for Retailer X? Retailer X is least developed in the adult segment and most developed in family and organics. The last thing to note is the largest segments in the category. What segment is largest for the retailer? Adult is the largest segment. Also, vendor number 1 is the largest vendor in this category. Once we complete our category review, we need to capture key observations from the data, including the insights from tying in with baseline and incremental sales results for this category. This is important to do to capture the key priorities and focus areas for the rest of your analysis. The next step would be to drill into the category tactics, which is covered in a different certified course on category tactics and analytics. To summarize, this is how we drilled through data. This captures the key steps that we went through. They may vary based on data source and analysis project, but this is a great example for you to work from as you complete your own analytic projects. We've now given you a glimpse of our certified course on category assessment, which will help your organization move data to insights in your endeavors to increase data return on investment. There are many options for you to choose from if you're interested in purchasing this course. The online course is available for purchase through Our House, which is Category Management Knowledge Group's state-of-the-art online training center. If you'd prefer, we can also run a private webinar for up to 200 people for a cost of $3,000, or a live session at a national or team meeting. Or if you're from a larger organization where many people would want to access the course, we can also make the course available for your use within your own internal learning management system. Your choices are limitless. Return on investment of your data purchase is paramount. For the millions of dollars some organizations spend on data, you want to know that the data is being optimized and maximized. Purchasing data gives your organization facts and data. But you shouldn't allocate your whole budget to data. By adding in software and reporting tools, you're providing them with information. Usually this requires additional budget dollars to pay for the software and tools. For many organizations, the data and software comes with training, and unfortunately, many believe that training is enough to develop skills to properly use data. But it's not. You need to provide application training that will help your organization move from data to insights and teach them how they can turn data insights into action. Not only category management needs to have these skills. Sales, marketing, space management, and other departments require these analytic skills to make more strategic and fact-based decisions in their roles. And to move to breakthrough insights, the right analysis at a much deeper level needs to be done. This is where the specialists do their work, where category management and shopper marketing can complete the in-depth analysis to find those breakthroughs. You need to set aside part of your data budget to pay for the corresponding applicational training to increase capability on your team and in your organization ongoing. This will help you increase data return on investment and, more importantly, move your organization to a more strategic and fact-based approach. At Category Management Knowledge Group, we can work with you to create solutions that will help you move your organization to a more strategic, fact-based place with increased return on investment for data purchased. So where do you go from here? If you're interested in purchasing the certified course or working with us to help you determine multifunctional training opportunities for your organization that will ultimately lead to increased return on your data investment, please contact us. We don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach, and we'll consult with you to ensure that what we deliver meets your specific needs and business issues. We hope to hear from you soon. Have an excellent day.